So, but the biggest challenge of the season, to me, has to be to you being on the field, Marvin Harrison, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, that week of prep, what was that like for you?
Yeah, that week was definitely different. I was probably the most locked in I've ever been for a football game that week. I mean, every day I was in there with Coach Klink and Coach Mentor and the defensive guys and just studying him. I mean, pretty much knew what he was going to do a lot of the time, so that helped me a lot, even with his releases and all those type of things. So just studying definitely put me at an advantage that game, and just the mentality I had that game definitely helped me out a lot.
Is he a guy, does he talk a lot?
Nah, I don't really think he said a word.
Okay,
game, so, yeah.
That's unique for a receiver and for an Ohio State receiver at that, right? If he wasn't talking, did you hear a lot of chirping? Because it's your first Michigan-Ohio State experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had heard a lot about it. Did it, everything you heard, was it what you expected, or did it surpass expectations?
I think it was what I expected. I don't think it was a lot, at least on the outside with the receivers and corners, at least on my side. I don't think receivers were talking much. But I think just the atmosphere and before the game, they walked out with their fancy clothes on, staring at us and doing all that type of stuff. So, I mean, they did all the extra things before the game. But at the end of the day, after the game, we were the ones celebrating on their field and stuff. So I think the atmosphere of the crowd, and it was all red. There wasn't a lot of Michigan people there like it was here last year. So the atmosphere was definitely what I expected it to be, but I don't think it was crazy chirping going on or anything like that.
Yeah, it felt like in that game, they run up and down the field on everyone. I'm talking about on the outside. They run by every guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, was there a point? Because it felt like some of those plays, man, C.J. Stroud had a bunch of time in the pocket and couldn't find guys. And you guys did a good job, I think, maybe confusing them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what was it like? You know better than me being on the field.
We know we gave them different looks, and our game plan was really, really good going into that game. So I think it definitely confused them a little bit. And we were at an advantage for sure.
Yeah, so that's a great segue into what the best game of your. I mean, Ohio State, from who you were covering standpoint, I felt like was outstanding game. Statistically, the best game of your career was the Big Ten championship game. I mean, you talk about being locked in for the game. So I want you to talk the viewers through what you saw on both interceptions, because to me, it didn't just seem like you just saw something while you were on the field. This seemed like the product of a lot of prep, a lot of study, and a lot of knowing what they were going to do, using that knowledge to your benefit on the field and jumping some plays. So take me through the interceptions one by one.
Well, the first interception, I just knew I was in man coverage, and I knew I didn't really have any help, so I played outside leverage to kind of force him back inside so he didn't have a lot of room to catch the ball. And I knew he was obviously their best receiver, so they were going to try to attack me when I was out there on the island with him, so I just knew it was probably coming. And when I was in position, I just looked up, the ball was coming, and honestly, when I went up to catch it, it was kind of a blur, I didn't even see it. And I just grabbed it on my chest, and then after that, just celebrating. But the second one, that was a lot of film prep. We knew when they lined up in that formation that they were giving a slant. That's why I jumped it like that. I didn't even look at the receiver. I just jumped it, and the ball was coming. So that was definitely all film prep, that second one.
Yeah, man.